when you look at people that do things obsessively and compulsively to try to unnaturally elongate their lives, it doesn't make sense, but there is an understanding of it because you're in a violent sex cult genocidal behavior. Trying to you're a survivalist and you're trying to eliminate the other competitive survivalists from the planet. They're acting like animals. Right now, if you're a human being, you understand and can obey natural laws, and you understand your capacity to live and then live through holy covenants and stuff. If you build proper shelter and build it to last and study it and look at the integrity of the architecture and things and stuff like that to last, so you're not destroying your environment, but you're maintaining your environment in a healthy manner. Like you don't poison plants, because then the residual effects on you and your environment and what you ingest. And so, just being intelligent is around selfish, excessive, compulsive people is a full-time job. It's exhausting. Good God, it is. And so, but when you're looking at people, and I saw this thing about structures on the moon, there could be numerous, they had the one kid, they had to refuel 3 times to get to the moon stuff. Maybe they took Elon Musk out of context. Maybe he's talking about building a landing pad on the moon. And that's radically different than getting a little light vehicle. They made it light so it'd be on the, you don't need all the stuff and these guys on the moon, I sit there and look at it with the little thing they landed on and how they get the car. Did they assemble the vehicle? Maybe they assembled the vehicle. Maybe it was an assemblable vehicle. Maybe so. I don't know. I don't care. That's irrelevant to me. I'm not, doesn't bother me at all. When I went to watch one of Miku Kaku, he just basically bragged about how amazing his fellow scientists are to be able to do this. He didn't say that they didn't do it, but the thing says they didn't do it, and then you go read it and it says, no, he's not saying they didn't. He said, this is how difficult it was and how amazing these scientists are. And then when you look at it and the thing is, you got to have this to go that. Well, when you're, I don't know how the engineering works, but when you're landing the thing on there, you have a different gravity and there's no atmosphere and stuff on the moon than there is off Earth. So when taking off, you have the same thing. You don't have the gravity pulling back in. So it's with the smaller structure and only having to move people and what they need to perform the mission is radically different than what Elon Musk is considering and talking about. So that's why he's saying the things that he's saying. I think a lot of people are looking at this and taking it out of context. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist and I'm not an engineer. But I can only tell you the things work differently once you break out of the atmosphere. And then how the propulsion works, and you hit it and it just goes. Okay. There's no slowing it down. There's no gravity pulling it down. You hit it and it goes. That's why that's how you have the Hubble telescope and stuff. It just floats off in space. It just goes in the direction you send it. And so you have to be very precise in maneuvering it. Once it gets going, it's moving, and then you got to maneuver it, and then you got to push it, and then push it back the other way and go that way. So things work differently once you're out of Earth's atmosphere and you're dealing with the moon as opposed to the Earth. So you're going to have to take that in consideration when you're talking about a lot of these things and considering these things. And so I think what the guy was talking about with these videos is taking what Elon Musk said and taking it out of context. He's trying to get all this equipment and these people to build a landing pad. And that's radically different than what happened with the Apollo whatever things that went up, And so that being said, that's something you could look at and say, yeah, then it is entirely possibly still feasible that they did go up in the 60s and 70s, and they haven't done it because it just doesn't make any sense to put people's lives at risk to study rocks from the moon, right? Why would you do that? You can't live on the moon. You can't function on the moon. It destroys your body if you stay up there. So it just makes no sense whatsoever to go do it. Same thing with going to Mars. You know, you're just going there to die, doing something that wasted the beauty of your life here on planet Earth. You know? So when you look at it and you consider it, and they're going to mine it to try to, why? It's like taking a huge shot in the dark to continue playing God with stem cell research and cloning and robotics, as opposed to enjoying the gifts of life from God here on this beautiful planet with all the things required to and the horrible things that we've done playing God, to totally just take our time. And like I said, time, the gift of grace, the faithless steal. They suck, right? And so when you look at it, even if, the engineering stuff on the moon, why? If they did say, why would anybody or anything build a structure on the moon? To what ends? To what purpose? It's like the Great Wall of China. It doesn't make any sense if you're a rational human being communicating with another rational human being. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Okay, because need built to last. So you're like there's just no logic and or reason. There's no intelligence to anything that they're doing and looking at scientifically with science fiction and the whole nine yards. And you're like, yeah. When you take into account how good cantaloupe and strawberries is, especially in season, right? And why would you want to pass that off to go kill yourself on Mars trying to turn your brain into a robot? And why would you want to have sex with a robot? Because the only thing that feels good about sex is living together through loving, right? And it's at its optimal physiologically, okay? Like Shakespeare talked about. When you're just heading past puberty and, and if things are comfortable and healthy and you're not Sid and Nancy and you're not doing drugs and you're not, like that one lady at Southwest Airlines, my husband's a band, professional musician stuff, and he smokes and drinks, and we have an open marriage, and I'd love to have a sexual relationship with you. You're always eating carrots and celery, and this you probably taste wonderful, right? And I'm like, oh, that's very flattering. It really was, and she was a sweetheart. She was adapting to her environment and she was a total sweetheart. But I just couldn't. He picked a fine time to leave me. No, it's like, it just wasn't my, I believe in wedding vows. I understand wedding vows. I accept wedding vows. I see the eternal beauty in them. I love my children. I love other people's children, like Elsa. And what was Elsa's husband's name? He's a character. Darren. That was it. It's Darren. Lots of Darrens. Wasn't Darren the name of the drunken Navajo that Tamara was with? And I was like, he's Navajo, but he's an ass. She sat there and I said, well, if he turns out to be a dud, you could date a nice white guy. She said, oh, that's gross. She told me how gross that was. And I was like, no, I met a couple here in town with a Jewish kid married to a Navajo and a wonderful young man for a son. It works. Okay. So crazy. Stuck in hell owning a gas station. Yeah, that's hell on earth. Part of it. Yeah, it's all a part of it. I got to fulfill the book. That's hard for, Barboncitos and Manuelitos relatives to have to accept and live in. And Abraham's and Moses's and Daniel's, and yes, that's hell on earth. Owning a gas station. Wow, the book of Daniel will help us, right? And so that's hard. That's why I always encourage people eternally. I see the soul hears and listens and it's greater than the mind. And, the humility of faithful wisdom transcends any perception of human knowledge through acquisition of learning through aggressive, selfish, finite, delusional behaviors, right? So don't read Sam Harris. Don't read Richard Dawkins either. Don't do it. The Bible is hard, okay? The Quran is hard. As far as extensive study on it, no. I would just wait for the living guy that's the source of the stories and listen to him talk, and that will save you a lot of misery and a lot of telling lies to everybody to keep making money to buy and sell out with stem cell researchers and cloners and roboters and Blade Runners and Star Warsers and Star Trekians. Save you a lot of time and energy. Then you can keep your gorgeous, Idris Elba eyes and stuff, and go find you a Tony Braxton, get busy, and she'll love your British accent, and she'll sing to you. You'll have grandkids and great-grandkids, and oh, you two were really hot when you were young. It feels better kissing her now. Well, because when we were young, we were busy and distracted and stupid by all the other stupid people around us. Now that I'm wise and understand the perfection of the Lord's Prayer and the beauty of eternity again, I eternally live through the faithful love of this woman, and that makes me the happiest man on the planet. And if other men are just as happy as me, more faithful love to us, right? More power? No, more power. No more power. Don't give her full power. Stop it. Get Bridle and Chim Chim out of the trunk and put Trixie on the ground. She don't need to be flying around that damn helicopter. Yeah, especially in as happy as a tornado in a trailer park, right? So, guys, inhumanity, insanity. Yeah, I'm surrounded by it, and I get it. Yeah, I just got to hunker in. We got to finish the nuts, so I got to work on those. Then after that, send off for my other controllers for my Xbox. Make sure every time I do fart around with the Xbox, as always, that it's well ventilated in here. Anytime you're playing a gaming system, don't play them in a room like it has for the state of California. Can cause cancer and stuff. If you have the chemicals coming out of those kind of devices like projectors and video game systems, if you have them, you're playing in a small space and it's not well ventilated. Same thing with painting your stuff. When I was a kid, my dad used to do it too and paint models and stuff. I painted my electric football players. I would paint, set my paints. It was cold as shit. It was in Washington. I'd climb up on my bed. I'd paint them on my bed in the wintertime and have the window right by the window where I could breathe. And the fumes were going out the window as opposed to, staying in the room. And I'd leave the window open to air out the room after I, closed off the paints and stuff and let the teams dry and stuff. So you just got to have intelligent parents that tell you, you do this, going to make yourself sick. So, yeah. Well, I also got that from the Ponces. They did the same thing when they did their cars. All paints. Their dad told them, hey, don't be breathing that stuff and make you sick and kill your brain cells. All right. And, we're earthlings that accept tribalism. We've only got a few brain cells to work with anyway. We're clinging to them. It's so funny. I know. I sat last night, stayed up late. I'll finish watching I like Oscar Chavez and the little Allison girl, the little girl that does the analysis on the Dallas Comets games. Oh my gosh, she's spot on. Wow, she's a sharp kiddo. She has a wonderful basketball IQ and the way to express it intellectually intelligent. She's one of the best I've ever heard. Yeah. Her name is Allison Richardson, Texas, right? I was sitting there listening to her and talking, and she was talking about, how Mark put Coach Bunker put the team together and all the things he did and the stuff. And then the way that they play, and she was just, her analysis was spot on, and just really, she watches her basketball and knows her basketball, and she can communicate it and explain it articulately and intelligently and astutely really well. I was like, well, good for this little girl. She'd be an excellent basketball coach, right? And so you're sitting there watching, and you're hearing some of the other kids, and I watched some of the stuff on the basketball game. I watched, I figured I already know the outcome because I went to the site because they didn't show it for days. And so I know the Mustangs win, but I want to watch it because I know Isaiah has a real good game and stuff. And I like little Mr. Brown. He's fun to watch too. Yeah, he's a good little ball player. He's got Coach Bunker put together a good team. a bunch of good kids. Most of them are from the junior college area where he coached, and one did well at Scottsdale. And so he's doing well. This is his third year or so. Yeah, I imagine after this year, because of stupidity of economic conflict, it'd be so much more fun to, you know, have a little bit bigger facility to get more people from the community to enjoy the basketball games and stay in Silver City because it's gorgeous, right? Money's not real, right? So maybe I'll help out do that in the next year or so, where we all get together and discuss intelligence and stuff, and do scientific studies to help with our scientific, in the environment and stuff up in Silver City at Western New Mexico, and just enjoy basketball for a couple of years, and then ask the Allison girl in Dallas if she wants to come help out and take over for a couple of years after I'm done, It'll be fun, huh? Yeah, that was pretty cute. But then they had I watched the other game. I watched Eastern versus West Texas A&M, and West Texas is having a tough year. I like the Sledge kid. He seems like a real nice kid. I like the kids I like the kids that the West Texas guys recruits. I like their mannerisms, and I like their interaction with each other. They seem like they're pretty decent to one another. So the coach seems like he's pretty decent to him. I hope so. Hope he doesn't cuss him out and get all fussy over money, because it's just fucking money and it's not real. So why yell at each other for inanimate objects that morons make us fight over? Brain cell, we talked about the brain cell thing. But guys, when you're coaching, okay, or teaching or doing anything like with me with my kids, the only time that you really got fussed out and cussed out is when you were being selfish, and it caused suffering and uncomfortableness for everybody involved. Okay, because you're being selfish and just thinking about you. I used to yell at their mom about it. I didn't yell, I'd grump, because what the fuck? You and your goddamn leg lifters at the fucking bar, right? You can't help it. It just, rah! Right. And so, the only time you should really cuss them out, okay, is when they're being selfish, and their selfishness causes misery for everybody else, because they think they're having fun. You think you're having fun. What song is that? I know what's done before it's done. Oh, trying to make a fool of me. Delphonics, that's a good song. Okay, but yeah, when you're gonna cuss kids out, it's if they're being selfish. This is the best way to coach. Only time you cuss them out and say, "What the fuck was that?" is when there's like what happened with number 27, Mr. Woolen, yesterday. What the fuck was that? That was stupid. I don't do that fucking shit anymore. Knock it off. If you make a mistake, like the little kiddo from the Rams trying to make the fair catch, and he lost it up in the lighting thing, and it's up there, and the way the stadium lights are and stuff, that's hard. Okay. If you make a mistake with that, and that Gunnar Young, he got a good break on it. He was coming hard, right? So I got to make this catch or it's going to bounce back and they'll pin it, and they got a real good defense. So if you make a mistake like that, it's like, it's okay, it's okay. We'll get another chance. Just hang in there and be tough, and, we'll get it done. And, but if they're doing something stupid and selfish, like Mr. Woolen, then you cuss him out and say, don't ever do that fucking again. Don't ever let me catch you doing that kind of stupid ass fucking shit again. Dick wagging and grabbing your crock. Like, why you doing with that nickel boy, that 10-cent boy? Better than being with nickel you. And then she was having sex with him after I left. But, like, damn, I thought she was true. Oh, you keep trying to make a fool of me, trying to make a fool of me. And you're only making a fool of yourself. Like I used to explain to my boy Patrick, because he said, man, Dad, it seems like, no, son. And I think the reason why that happens to my son Patrick, okay, who's 6'5", bigger penis than Steven Tyler, intellectually almost as astute as his father. And, he did break out in acne and stuff like I did because of all the abuse. It was really hard on us. We were the anti-bullies, and we were abused by the worst bullies in the history of science. And Galileo, Figaro, Beelzebub. Maybe that's why I like Bohemian Rhapsody. But it's me and Patrick trying to survive all these perverts. I don't want to die. Sometimes I wish I was never born at all. I never do that. Well, I know how precious the gift is, and I don't blame the gift of life from the glory of grace for assholes making my life miserable because they're selfish, jealous perverts. Seriously, I mean, oh my gosh, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't be a leg lifter at the bar, you crazy. Dick measuring contests are for fucking morons who think they're animals. Gosh dang it, knock it off. So stop, don't abuse kids verbally, mentally, and emotionally because you're selfish and you want to make more money. Okay? You're acting like a bitch. We're teaching people to play ball like men. You play ball like a pervert. Knock it off, right? So grow the fuck up. Show me that ass, I'm gonna kick it. 18 with a bullet. Got finger on trigger, gonna pull it. It was a goofy ass song. Yeah, it was. But all right, man. But I'll make another one here. I'm gonna take my happy ass out to the barn and get my exercise on. We'll cuss you out there too. Being selfish, crazy ass dumb motherfuckers. I don't know. Well, I do know why. I was like, why do I have Tony Braxton song stuck in my head all day? That's Breathe Again, right? The other one was Unbreak My Heart. I can't remember, Steffi was real into her because Steffi reminded, and they had this sultry voice and stuff. So Steffi was really into Tony Braxton. Big thing on Tony Braxton. Yeah. She has a nice voice. As far as songs that I was more into Anita Baker. I liked, especially Good Enough. Oh God, that's a damn good song. Just because is also really good. Yeah, and the Rapture album, wonderful. Yeah. Angel, I gotta put that on my MP3. Yeah, that's a good song. But yeah, I just had a little bit more thing for Anita Baker. I just liked her style. She's very jazzy. Earl likes jazz. Let's fall in love. Why don't we fall in love? Right? So yeah, you know me. So yeah, I like jazz. And a lot of the songs she does a lot of like "If I Would Leave You." That's a Broadway. That's not a jazz tune, but Nancy tears it up. Oh my gosh, that woman's voice is sugar. It's good. Good. Okay. Man, she's good. So, yeah, she tried to sound like little Jimmy Scott, but her voice has more of a strength to it than his. Yeah, she sounds better than he does. I like little Jimmy Scott, and especially Angel Eyes. That's a damn good tone, right? But Nancy's is better. Oh, God, that woman can sing. Well, that's my opinion. And other people probably just go, no, I like little Jimmy Scott better. Well, you go on, you go with yourself. I like Billy Stewart too. But GQ, the dude from GQ sings sitting in the park, and I like his I Do Love You a little better. He has a nice voice. I do like Billy Stewart. Billy Stewart's, summertime, I love me some Billy Stewart. Don't do me wrong. So I love you guys. Stop being dumbasses. Stop competing and comparing. Just enjoy the beauty of the gift of life and sharing it with love and gratitude. Okay. Macaroons. Peace, man.